Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. We are barefaced because we are gonna go back to basics today. I've been getting a lot of feedback, a lot of comments on my skin. Personally, I feel like my skin looks the same it always has. I'm hearing, well, you have like that pregnancy glow. I promise you, I don't see it. I do not see it. However, I did want to show you guys what it is that I've been doing with my skin in order to get that flawless base, that flawless foundation, that flawless bronze and highlight, just that glow from within kind of look on pretty much all my videos. And if you've been one of my subscribers for quite some time, you already know how I am and how I like to execute things. However, if you're new to my channel, make sure you are 100% subscribed. Make sure that you hit that notification bell and the like button because all three buttons are like completely free and you'd be helping me out. I don't like to overly complicate things. I do like to have a lot of fun with creating poppy, colorful, just kind of like exaggerated looks. But a lot of times being able to create a flawless, easy look that can be recreated on a day-to-day basis is just the best thing ever in my opinion. So that's what we're gonna do today. We are going to start at step 1 and I'm gonna show you guys how I prep my skin, how I apply foundation, my concealer, my bronzer, my blush, my highlight. And as we move along with each step, I will be showing you some higher and a little more expensive brands that I personally like for these steps, as well as drugstore brands, which are absolutely amazing as well. Step 1 is make sure your face is completely clean. I did cleanse my face about 15-20 minutes ago, but I have walked around my house. I was in the kitchen, so of course there must be some type of dust, dirt, particle on my skin. So I'm just gonna go ahead and use this. I honestly, for this, I don't have a drugstore brand for a micellar water because that's basically what it is. This here is a micellar magic water by Tarrah. You can totally use the Pixi glow toners as well. They have the rose one, they have a milk one, they have the glow one, of course. So all of those are actually really good and I use those a lot too, but I don't have it right in front of me right now. So I like to take a big cotton pad and just pick up whatever oils and residue and dust or whatever may be on my skin. No matter how much you clean your face, you're always going to encounter something that's left on your face. I'll make sure I link all the products that I talked to you guys about on this video down in the description box, as well as these cotton pads, which are affordable, absolutely amazing, and everyone needs to get their hands on. So I'm going to set these to the side. So that was step 1. Step number 2 is going to be to moisturize your skin. You guys have no idea how important it is to make sure that your skin is completely hydrated. By doing that, you're going to help your foundation sit on your face like this amazing airbrushed canvas. Trust me, I promise you. What I have personally been using a lot lately is the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Cream. I know this baby is really pricey, so I get it if you don't want to get your hands on it. I do have a few other alternatives, but I just wanted to keep it real. I have been using this as my moisturizer like right before makeup application. When it comes to really good moisturizers for the skin, I also like to go with the 2-in-1 because I am lazy AF. So if you could do a 2-in-1, that's perfect. I have the Elemis Superfood Glow Priming Moisturizer. So it's a primer, but it's also a moisturizer. It has a little bit of a luminosity, which I love the way it looks on the skin. This is an option for you. I know it was featured in BoxyCharm. I've been using this for about a month now, and I absolutely have been loving it. I know this is on the pricier side. However, if you are a charmer, you may be able to access this baby via like a pop-up store, an add-on or something like that. So that would be really awesome if you can get your hands on this, because again, it is a 2-in-1 and then you can like bypass an extra step. And then we have these two over here. This here is the First Aid Beauty Coconut Skin Smoothie Priming Moisturizer. Again, it's a 2-in-1. And then I have this one over here, which is a little more on the affordable side. It is the Good Molecules Silicone-Free Priming Moisturizer. So the whole point is you want to be able to moisturize your skin. That way it looks hydrated and feels hydrated even before you apply your foundation. I actually just went with the Good Molecules. Make sure that your skin is not lacking any moisture before you go in with your foundation. That is definitely going to affect the way your foundation is going to look. If you have extra dry skin, when you go ahead and apply your foundation, it is going to look somewhat cakey, maybe even crepey. And if you have dry skin and then you have dry patches, it just looks lumpy, and the foundation is just not gonna look just like it's melted like butter on your skin, which is generally what we want. We want our foundation to look like second skin. And then you would follow up and prime, but I went with the Good Molecules, which is a 2-in-1. So we're gonna go ahead and not worry about primer for now because I just did that. A mistake I find often is made is once we go ahead, we apply our moisturizer, we apply our primer, then we slap on some foundation. We don't take our time. Of course, not everyone has the time. Trust me, as a makeup artist, I have been in situations where I've been on a time crunch because there's a wedding, or, you know, I have 3 more people that I have to work with. And it's just like, what do you do? I don't have the time, but you have to make the time. If you have to cut short the amount of time that you're spending on other categories when it comes to makeup, then go ahead and do that. But when it comes to these steps that we're literally going through right now, you don't want to cut any corners. By letting your primer sit on your skin for 1 or 2 minutes, you're allowing the product to settle onto your skin. You may often find that when you apply foundation, it looks a certain way, and then like 20 minutes later, it looks so much better. And that's because it finally kind of settled onto your skin, and it does look like second skin. So if you go ahead and you just apply product over product over product, you're just caking it on and you're not giving your skin any time to absorb some of it. Again, we don't want it to get into your pores, which is why you're using a primer and a moisturizer, but you hear what I'm saying? Like, you want it to kind of melt in. So now that I've been talking for like ever, we're gonna go ahead and talk about the foundations I've been using. My go-to lately has been the Magic Foundation by Charlotte Tilbury. This one is in medium 8. It's almost finished, so I have to get a new one. If you don't want to spend Charlotte Tilbury money, but you still want something really, really nice, the Tarte Face Tape mine is in 47S Tan Deep Sand. Wow, that's a long name. So that's this one. It's really, really good too. But if you want to go on the more affordable side, guys, when it comes to like Maybelline, L'Oreal, and now I've fallen in love with Makeup Revolution. Like, okay, like you can just go to drugstore and get pretty much the same outcome with drugstore foundation than you would with high end. So do you need to spend $50, $60, $70 on a foundation? No, unless you really, really want to. I have 2 here that I can show you for reference. The L'Oreal Infallible Fresh Wear. This one is in $4.85, but I also have the Revolution Conceal and Define. Mine is in F12. None of these foundations that I'm talking to you guys about right now will oxidize on you. It didn't oxidize on me, and that's, I think, one of the first things that gets you kind of scared about buying a new foundation. Will it work with your pH balance, and will it oxidize on your skin? It's like, you never really know. So I'm gonna go in with the Revolution one, and here is how huge that doe foot applicator is, which I love. And I know like a lot of people say this is not super sanitary, but I wash my face and my hands, and either way it kind of is what it is. I'm not sharing my foundation with anyone, so I'm okay with doing this. We're gonna go ahead and blend it in. I am a sponge girl. I'm gonna list a few of the sponge companies that I think their sponges, not only are they affordable, but they last a really long time and they're absolutely amazing. You do not have to spend $20 on a beauty blender unless you absolutely want to, because with those $20, you can get a few sponges from the companies that I'm going to suggest in the description box. However, if you only want to spend about $1 or so on sponges that are decent and they're pretty good, Shop Miss A also sells really nice sponges. You can use a sponge or you can use a brush. Personally, I'm a sponge girl because a sponge is going to give you that flawless finish, that flawless blend, make it look really airbrushed without absorbing all of your product, but at the same time, it's not leaving all this product on your face, so it's not feeling like sticky, tacky, or like overly done. You don't want a mask face, you just want flawless face. You know, we're not going to a red carpet, we're not doing the awards, we're literally doing everyday makeup, but we also want to look bomb, right? So a sponge is the way to go. You want to make sure that it's nice and damp and wring out all the water that it has in it. And then I like to just go in with a towel and do one of these also. If you're a brush girl, that's perfectly fine. I find that a brush tends to make it a little more difficult to blend out the product evenly on the skin. And depending on the brush, it may leave strokes, which means it takes additional time to blend. And that to me is like annoying. Like I feel like my time is super valuable. So as you can see, I'm going in and I'm just pouncing the product onto my skin. I kind of spoke for a little longer there, but look, it's still blending. So see, like the cheek area is done, and you can definitely go down here and bring it down. I'm just showing you. I don't like the idea of blending in circles or blending up solely because you're just dragging the product across your skin versus getting your skin to actually like take this in. We're gonna go ahead and just keep pouncing it in. If you wanted more coverage, you can definitely go in with a little more foundation, but at least once you've blended it in, you have a really good idea as to what your foundation looks like, and it was effortless this whole time. Editing Jotty here. So for whatever reason, the clip where I was showing you guys the concealers I'm suggesting did not save. I have literally no idea why. Nonetheless, I'm going to show you guys really quickly the concealers. For high end, I've been loving the Born This Way by Too Faced Cosmetics. Mine is in golden beige. An absolute OG fave is the Tarte Shape Tape, and it is in the shade medium. And then I have this mini of the NARS. I got mine in medium 3 praline. I feel like there's so many people on YouTube hyping this one up. I feel like drugstore ones are just as good as this, if not even better. I did use it for the look because I just might as well use it since I paid for the mini. And then my two drugstore versions that I think are amazing is the L'Oreal Infallible Full Wear. I got mine in Latte 375, and then the Revolution Makeup Super Size Conceal and Define. So it is literally like the foundation, except it is the basically like the baby. It's the concealer, and this one is in C10. I'm gonna go in with the NARS because I haven't used it in forever. Like, look how, I think I just got like so spoiled by the bigger applicators that this is just like so tiny. Yeah, I don't get it. If you're obsessed with the NARS concealer too, please let me know why, because I genuinely do not see it. I no longer do that V, like bringing it down and then bringing it up. I find that that is so much product to apply on your face. The triangular technique does not necessarily work for every single one. It really depends on what your under eyes look like, the shape of your eye. I mean, it depends on so much, and I just feel like let's keep it simple and let's do something that's gonna work for everyone. So I concentrated on the beginning of my eye, and then I bring some over to the outer portion of my eye, and that's gonna give me that lifted and pulled back effect. So I like to do that. And then I focus the majority of the product under the eye, which is what we're trying to brighten, as you can see. And then on the outer portion here, I just like to blend it out, but pull out instead of down. I like to pull out. That's going to lift my eye. I also like to take some of whatever product is left and bring it onto this inner corner over here, because it definitely brightens the inner eye area. Let's get into setting powders. Immediately after applying your concealer, set it with a powder. I am going to bake today, but you don't have to bake. The purpose of baking is to help set whatever oils are in your concealer. The concealer is a liquid product. If it were a powder product, then you don't really have to worry about it. But if you do not set it, then it is going to crease on your fine lines. And I know I look like I don't have any, but I do. There are a series of options available for you. I would normally go with a translucent setting powder, which basically means it goes onto your product, but it's not changing the shade of the liquid product that you put underneath. So say the concealer, it's not gonna make it any brighter, but it's not gonna change any shades. It's just gonna go on, and once it sets, it's gonna set more of a clear. So it'll still brighten, but it'll set more translucent, hence translucent powder. Banana powder, on the other end, does have color to it. This one is fairly yellow. It's going to add a touch of that yellow shade. A lot of people like it because it helps color correct, but at the same time, it helps brighten the area wherever you apply it. This is the Juno & Co. Juno Blur. I love it. It's amazing and it's affordable. And then we have the Jeffree Star powder, but this one is in banana. So we're gonna use banana. You can go in lightly if you're not going to bake and just literally dust on some powder and call it a day. So I'm just gonna like tap into it, tap out, and apply that specifically where I applied the concealer. This is actually the powder that I applied under my eyes on my last baby bump date vlog. If you haven't seen it, make sure you go check it out. I'm gonna link it up here as well as in the description box. I got so many compliments on the look and I was just like, well, thank you. Let's get into like the sculpting and or bronzing of the skin. Personally, I do not do both. I like to just stick with one. So if I'm gonna bronze, I go ahead and just use a bronzer. If I wanna sculpt, I just go ahead and sculpt. However, personally, I feel as though sculpting is not an everyday step that people need to take. I feel like sculpting is amazing if you're doing like an event or you're going to a party, you're gathering, a lunch date, a dinner, something like that, because it helps kind of really chisel and reshape your face, like your facial structure. I generally like to just go in and bronze the right way for me, and then I just keep it pushing, because sometimes even with sculpting, you end up having these harsh lines, and if they're not blended properly, it just becomes this whole thing. This is the Film Star Bronze and Glow by Charlotte Tilbury. You know what I actually like too? The Pretty Vulgar, the Nesting Bee Face. I like this one because it's like that healthy, like it's a really goldy brown with a hint of red and yellow, but it's not too much on the yellow side, not too much on the red side. It's like that perfect medium for girls with my skin complexion. Nonetheless, like I said, I'm gonna contradict myself and I'm gonna use a sculpting shade for my face, but that's because it's also on the bronzy side, but it has that great undertone that I like. I like a fluffy brush. When you use a fluffier brush to apply your bronzer, it looks more natural and flawless, almost like you sat in the sun and you just got the perfect tan in the right places. This one is a Tarrah 50F, and I just like to just fluff her up. You see what I'm saying? Like, it is so much easier than trying to strategize. Like, the line goes from here to here. Trust me, as a makeup artist, I know. And here is where I love to take the product and blend it into my hairline. No matter how further down I bring it down, I always blend it into my hairline so that it looks sun-kissed and natural. You can't skip this area here because then you're gonna just have this like light bald spot and it's weird. So you just wanna really wrap the color around the perimeter of your face. You don't wanna bring it down too far down though. You just really wanna fluff it in. Now I can see this in person, so I hope that the camera is picking it up, but do you see the difference in dimension on my face? It looks natural, it doesn't look extra sculpted, and it doesn't look heavy on the skin. It just looks like a nice kiss of color with a hint of girl, you tried, but you've got that natural beauty going on. Then I'm gonna grab a clean brush and I'm gonna fluff away my bake. So you see like it's still brightened, but it added a little bit of color under my eyes. When it comes to blush, I don't like to strategize way too much. I will literally grab whatever brush I have, as long as it's like a nice medium size and it's not like super crazy, because that's way too much blush for the skin. So I'm gonna go ahead and use this one because all I used it for was just to wipe away my bake. I'm gonna use the Nesting Bee Face by Pretty Vulgar. I'm gonna dip into this Mirror shade, which is kind of like NARS's Laguna. I like to take the product and instead of tapping out, I will tap into the brush. I do this. And I know it's super old school, but listen, sometimes, depending on your facial structure, you just have no idea where your cheekbones are or where you need to be applying your blush. Now, back in the day, people would apply the heavier amount out here and bring it forward. That's perfectly fine if that's your jam. For certain models, events, or situations, I have applied blush that way with using that technique. However, for me, I like to do this so we can see where my cheekbones are, and then I don't blend in. I tap my product in and I bring it out. You really want your products to blend in together. You don't want to just see pink, then brown, and then if you apply highlighter, you don't want 3 strips, right? We're not going for a Neapolitan ice cream. We're going for like soft served blended perfection. So, ow! I've also seen people apply the blush on the tips of their nose or like a dusting of it. I've done it too, so I'm not gonna knock it. I don't feel like it's for everyone. You have to strategize if you should or should not apply blush and or highlighter. That's just the thing. If you want to make your nose look smaller, you want to kind of reshape it with makeup in a way, then you really want to just sculpt it. You want to apply bronzer strategically to it. Applying a blush It's just gonna make it look rounder, kind of swollen looking, because it's just gonna add that pink effect. And then if you use a highlighter, depending on where you apply the highlighter, it's also just gonna bring the attention of the eye directly to the center of your face, because that's the first thing we see, whatever is shiny. I totally get it. I've had issues with my nose too, and I'm just like, I don't like my nose. So I totally get it, but those are things that you wanna skip in the event that you just don't want the attention to go to your nose. Let's talk highlighters. I'm gonna admit I prefer a cream formula the most, not necessarily a liquid. The liquid is going to react differently on your skin depending on what your skin already looks like. So if you have texture and you apply a liquid, that liquid may actually emphasize the texture on your skin, and you don't want that. Or if you have acne, avoid a highlighter in any area where you have acne, because again, the highlighter is going to attract the eye to look to that area. And in most cases, we do not want to emphasize those. So creams, for me, in my opinion, always work better than a liquid. Powders, on the other hand, you can use. I always like to follow up with a setting spray. You can strategically apply it wherever you'd like your highlighter to go. And then with the setting spray just kind of like melts it all onto your skin, so it'll blend in with everything else that you've already done to it. I'm gonna show you two of my favorites. Numero uno is this one over here. It is a trio. I got this in a beauty box, but I actually owned two of these already. These two, I owned them full size individual compacts, and then I ended up getting the third one in a beauty box as well. This is by the Balm, or you can get Sleek Makeup, which has these highlighters in it, and they're stunning. This is in copper plate. They also have another one that has like a blue, a lavender, a pink, and then a white, and they look beautiful, but they are just so luminous and melt into the skin in such a way that it's like stunning, okay? But now let's get into these creams over here. So when I mean cream, I'm talking about something like the Stila Starlit Star Bright, but we also have the Girlactik Skin Glow. I have this one in Moonlight. I also have the other shade variation, but they're just like so pretty. A cream highlighter you can definitely apply with a sponge as long as it's damp. The brush is not gonna blend it into your skin and melt it in the way it should. I tend to just use my finger because I find that it works. I like to go in with my finger and just blend it in. And with this, of course, I would still go in with a setting spray and just set it all in place. I do think it's personal preference for everyone. As you're applying with your finger is gonna warm up the product. It's gonna melt it into your skin, and it's not going to emphasize the texture. I get it all the time that my skin looks flawless. No, there's just certain techniques that we can use to hide our texture. That's just what it is. And then I like to bring it all the way back here, just gently, like a little bit, but concentrate the product here on the middle of my cheekbone. And then I go like this, and I make sure that I dab whatever's left there, because when I smile, it totally lifts the look, transforms the cheekbone area, just makes it look more cheeky than it actually is. We're gonna apply some setting spray. With regards to the nose area, I do not always highlight. Whenever I do want to highlight it, I literally would just go in and apply a little bit. Y'all seen it on camera. Sometimes I tend to look a little bit like the Tin Man, so I have to tone it down, but I will do one of these and blend it out, and then bring some to like the bridge of my nose. That way it brings attention to like the center of my face, depending on the eye look that I have on for that day. If I have a full-on smoky eye, this is just not gonna happen because it's way too much. But if you wanna bring some luminosity, you totally can. Taking these simple steps are going to support you in achieving this simple, flawless, glowy makeup look. Now, of course, I didn't touch into the eyes. I didn't really get into the brows or the lippy because we're focusing on just the base, the face, the foundation of your makeup in this video. However, if you are interested in how I achieve my brows, I did film that for you guys. It should be up really soon. So again, make sure you are subscribed to my channel. I have the notification bells. That way YouTube lets you know every single time I upload a new video. Guys, this here, I use 3 different products. Super easy, super simple. You can get both brows done in less than like 4 minutes. So stay tuned for that video. But in order to wrap this one up, make sure you let me know down below in the comment section which part of like what we did today do you normally struggle with, and whether or not you find that this video will be helpful to you. Don't forget, I do have a giveaway that's currently open. It will be open until Friday and then it closes. So I'm gonna link the video with all the rules and everything down in the description box. There are gonna be 3 mystery box winners. So make sure you submit your entry form, that way you don't miss out. Thank you for choosing to spend a few minutes out of your day with me. Make sure you check out the videos that are coming here on screen. There are more tutorials, unboxing, makeup reviews, vlogs, and all that good stuff. And I'll see you guys in those other videos. Bye guys.